Hey everyone, today we have Vanshita with us. She is an SD2 at Microsoft. She recently cracked Microsoft and I'm very eager. I think you all must be very eager to learn from her, hear from her कि उसने ये कैसे crack किया. So Vanshita, over to you. Can you introduce yourself and walk us through your journey from your first company, I think Siemens, to Microsoft?
Hey everyone, so my name is Vanshita, currently working as an SD2 with Microsoft. So I started my journey with Siemens EDA as an intern. I was employed there for almost 6 months, and then I was given a PPO there itself, and then I worked there for almost 10 months. And as a part of my tenure in Siemens, I was mostly working on the automation of the EDA projects. That was a different domain completely. Then after that, I switched to Flipkart, and in Flipkart, I worked almost for 4 years. And like my team was completely seller centric, so like it was an e-commerce seller platform, and we are handling a lot of sellers. So that was a lot of scale for me to handle. And currently, I'm working with Microsoft as an SG2. So I joined Microsoft like 1 month back only, and here I'm working in the ODSP platform.
So one question that is very obvious. Uh, Even I have this question. Let's say I'm in Flipkart and I think I'm already stable. It's a very good company. Yeah, no, even staying for after everything, quite a 4 year you said, right? It's a good amount of time to people get comfortable with the culture.
Yeah.
And what made you decide that you want to switch at this time? Was it that you just got promoted to SD2 and now you want more CTC, or you were straight up with Bangalore traffic and you wanted to move out of Bangalore?
Yeah, so I will say, yeah, like 4 years, that is a lot of time for sure. So earlier I was in SD 1 year, then I was promoted to SD2. And I was in SD2 for almost 1 year there.
Okay.
And while I was doing like working as an SD2, so there was a lot of collaboration involved and a lot of ownership also was there. So I thought like I have learned a lot in the e-commerce platform. So I wanted to learn something new. And also, yeah, that is true. Like, location was one of the constraints for me. So I wanted to move out from Bangalore and come to Noida. So I was basically searching for a company that is there in Noida. So that was also one of the reasons for me to switch back. And also, like, I wanted to learn something new. That was also one of the reasons. And the third reason was the compensation for sure.
So I think Bangalore traffic is on number one. That makes me think that why I'm in Bangalore.
I mean, yeah. So, like, in the last 4 years, I was, yeah, basically fed up with the traffic. So, I was staying in HSR. My office was in Bellandur. So, that was 10 kilometers ka stretch. And, like, Bellandur area, that area I didn't like mostly. So, I was staying in HSR. So, like, there was a lot of commute. So, yeah.
I too stay in HSR near Outer Ring Road, and
Okay.
my office is 14 kilometer. I'm traveling daily, so I know the pain.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you are over it, and I'm really happy. I think Noida must be treating good.
Yeah.
With a bit pollution, at least.
Pollution, though, it is there. That is true.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we have to compromise with something, either traffic or pollution.
Right, right.
Cool. So, Vanshita, another question. And I think this is the main topic of this podcast, that how did you apply to Microsoft, how to get viewed by the HRs, and what was your secret sauce? I mean, a lot of people apply, but even when I used to apply, I straightforward used to get the rejection mail,
Yeah.
and you have an offer.
Yeah.
Do you have any difference there? I mean, what we can do correctly so that we at least get an interview chance at Microsoft?
Right. Right. I do think this is the most important question. So for me, so I got almost 9 to 10 interview invites from Microsoft in the last 6 months. So what I used to do is, so I used to sit every Tuesday and I just used to open a Microsoft Careers Cut site and then apply for all the like posted jobs in the last 1 week. So yeah, that is a pain to apply to all those jobs. But there is one thing here. So let's say like you are applying for the SD2 role, then you should also apply for the senior software engineer, because sometimes what happens is, even if it says like 8 years of experience is required and you apply for that job, recruiters reach out to you like, if you have 5 years of experience, we won't be able to give you the job for the senior software engineer, but for the same application ID we can interview you for the SD2 role. So that also happened with me quite a lot. So when the there is one thing that you should obviously apply for all the roles that are there in the last 1 week, and that should be a consistent thing that you are applying. And also, one most important thing that a lot of people don't know is that there is no cool off period in Microsoft for the different teams. So at one time you can interview for multiple teams. Even if you get rejected, then you can get the interviews for the different teams. So
Seriously?
then it's no such thing. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, this is a really amazing knowledge that I got. But most of the companies have at least 3 months, 6 months of cool off.
Yeah, that is true. Like that is there in Microsoft for the same organization itself.
Oh.
We have the ODSP, we have the Windows, then we have the Go Pilot.
Azure. Let's say I get rejected in Azure. Next day I can apply in some other organization.
Right. Yeah, that is there. And also, like, there are two types of referrals in Microsoft. So one is the normal referral that you can reach out to anyone on the LinkedIn or anyone, and then they will give you the referral. But what I have seen is like that referral is not that much prominent or that much effective. So there is one different thing that is called as the boost referral.
Oh.
So you have to keep an eye, like sometimes, for example, in my org, ODSP. So it is hiring a lot of candidates. So it has opened an internal platform that is called as the Boost Referral. And if someone refers you on that platform, then that is almost 100% sure that you will be getting an interview invite.
Wow.
So that Boost Referral is also there. So you should keep an eye on that thing. So yeah.
This is really insightful. I don't think we'll get this kind of knowledge on internet. So how did you know this? I mean, did HR told you, or you had friends already in Microsoft who helped you?
So I had friends on Microsoft, but I didn't apply for this Boost Referral anything.
Okay,
But yeah, that is there. That is there.
cool. So people can reach out to you for boost referrals.
Yeah, if there are any openings, then they can reach out to me.
I mean, yeah, if the resume makes sense, then you can obviously
Yeah, right.
get some good bucks. I think we do get referral bonus as well, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. I don't know, but yeah, I think so.
Superb, superb. So you didn't do any cold email. You didn't reach out to the recruiter directly on LinkedIn. It was just consistently applying to their career portal
Right.
and with normal referrals.
Yeah. And one more thing, like the first interview invite that I got from Microsoft, that was through Naukri.com. So I had a profile on Naukri.com and one recruiter. So Microsoft, there are a very few recruiters that are like basically in Microsoft. So they have the CareerNet recruiters, that is a third party,
Okay.
and those are present in the Naukri.com. So if you create your profile on the Naukri.com, there are also chances. I have few friends who also basically applied this way only, like they got the call from the Naukri.com profile, and then they gave the interviews and everything. So that is also there. And then yeah, like for me, I didn't get any referral. I didn't reach out to anyone. I just applied on the websites.
So even I would give a +1 on that, because a lot of company they hire extended workforce to
Yeah.
to take care of their hiring process. So there are multiple platform other than Naukri as well. I think
Yeah.
Indeed, InstaHire, these
Yeah.
kind of platform are, the third party recruiters are very active there. So instead of focusing just on LinkedIn, one can divert their resumes into these kind of platforms.
Yeah. Nice.
Superb. Cool. The next question. How was your interview process? I mean, how many rounds were there? What kind of round was there? What was the difficulty? So maybe can you give us some sort of mind map that one has before applying Microsoft? Ki these many rounds will be there, so I'll prepare accordingly.
Yeah. So I basically gave interviews for two of the platforms. Like I gave for the ODSP as well as I gave for the Windows. So the first process is the online assessment that is there for all the like organizations that are there in Microsoft. So once you clear that online assessment, there might be a screening round, and they have recently started taking that screening round because currently nowadays a lot of people are using AI to cheat in the online assessment. So they have added one more layer as a screening round. It may happen or it may not happen. So for me, it happened for Windows, and for ODS, it was not there. And sometimes it is a complete 1 day drive, and it can also be like it is individual rounds. So you will get like some rounds on 1 day and another round on the another day. For me, for both of these organizations, it was a same day drive. And what happened with me was both the drives were scheduled on the same day itself.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, I had to give basically 8 interviews in a sector.
Damn, 8 hours of interviewing. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah. So that is also there. And yeah, you can also give interviews on the same day itself. That is also one thing. but like you have to be that much active to give the interviews. That is it. So for me, like round one and round two, these are scheduled irrespective of your performance in the round one.
Non-eliminatory, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So round one and round two you will be given, and then there is a round three and then round four. So there are 4 rounds of interviews, and then there can be additional screening round. So for me, like in the screening round, they just asked me the projects in the Flipkart that I'm currently working on. Basically, it was a HLD round for me,
Okay.
and the hiring manager itself took that round.
Phone screening round was an HLD round.
Yeah,
HLD discussion round, right?
discussion on like the project discussion on
Yeah.
like what are the different components that I am basically working on at Flipkart. So, like the first 2 rounds, so it will depend on the experience level also. So, like in Microsoft, as an SD2, there are 2 grades, 61 or 62.
Correct.
So, it will depend on your experience. Like if you have 4 years experience, then it is possible that round one and round two both are DSA for you. But if you have like 5 more years of experience, 5+ years of experience, then it is possible that round one is DSA and then round two is LLD.
Okay,
For-
one in less DSA round for senior engineers.
Yeah.
I mean, okay,
Not the senior engineers, like, yeah, the senior
late SD2s, I would say.
Yeah. So for me, it was like the first round, it was DSA round, and the second round was LLD for me,
Okay.
and the third round was HLD, like in the both the like Windows as well as ODSP. And then the fourth round, it was the hiring manager round, and it also included some behavioral questions.
Perfect.
So this was the overall structure. And talking about the basically difficulty wise, DSA, I guess it was a medium round in both the cases. LLD, I found it medium to hard because there are some scenarios where like the interviewer, he will want you to basically go ahead in a particular direction. So that is also there that you should pick the heads and then you should basically go in that direction, because if LLD cannot be covered, like every component we cannot cover in that particular 40 or 45 minutes. So that is also there. Like you should ask the interviewer that which component he's more interested in, and you should discuss that more.
So the expectation is not to give a working solution by the end of the day. I mean, by end of the interview, but more of like discussion.
Like it is expected that it will be working code, but most of the times if it is a huge statement, huge problem statement, then it is not possible to structure everything. If it is a smaller statement, for example, let's say it is a pass scheduler, so that we can build up, because like that is just a Khan's algorithm, like everything, like that is doable. So it also depends on the problem statement, if it is doable in that particular time frame, or if he wants us to concentrate on some particular element, and then we should be giving the working code for that particular element. But yeah, the coding is there in LLD round in Microsoft. In a lot of companies, that is not there. It is just discussions in LLD. But in Microsoft, it is expected that you will be writing the working code.
I also gave interview in Uber, and exact question was asked was it design a task scheduler, but it was a distributed task scheduler. I mean, lot of multi-threading. So does Microsoft also focus on multi-threading or consistency sort of
A lot.
a lot?
So, for me, like they also ask multi-threading questions irrespective of this LLD questions. So multi-threading, like you should be well aware of multi-threading if you're giving Microsoft interviews for any organization.
Okay.
So that is
Any specific part of multi-threading that you would like everyone to read?
So I was giving interviews in C++. There is a lot of confusion. Like if you're working in a particular language and you are using a different language to give interviews, that is perfectly fine according to me, because a lot of people do the competitive programming in C++. So for me, I was giving interviews in C++.
You gave LLD in also C++.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I will say for multi-threading, like on mutexes, semaphores, and then all these questions are asked. Like for example, I have seen somewhere like interviewer asked like you have to basically write 1 to 100 using 3 threads. So these kind of questions can also be asked.
Basically, get 3 threads out of pool and then do
Yeah.
manual execution. Okay.
So yeah, a lot of multi-threading questions are asked in Microsoft. And yeah, then it was an HLD round. The answer was an HLD round. And HLD, it is also medium to hard, I guess, in Microsoft. So they will ask a lot of questions, a lot of trade-offs. Why this? Why not this? They expect you to know some of the stuff if you are given for 62. If you are given for 61, HLD round might get skipped for you sometimes.
Okay. I mean, if you do well in DSA and LLD, it will be skipped.
Then it is also possible that you were being interviewed for 61, but you performed very well in the interviews, and then they can also offer you 62. So that also happens after interviews, or they can also downgrade you from 62 to 61. That is also there. So,
Sounds
yeah.
good. That sounds good.
And then the fourth round, it was a managerial round. For me, it was a combination of HLD, LLD, and the behavioral questions. So a lot of questions were asked, and it was a very interesting question. Like, I was really interested in knowing some of the deep components, why we are doing this, why we are not doing this. So they will just try to judge your thinking process, how you are thinking. Will you be able to handle this much design things in Microsoft while you are coming here? Because in Microsoft, I have observed, like, you are not given something to do. It's your choice. If you want to pick a project, then it's completely your choice. So that there is a lot of different culture at Microsoft.
Superb, superb. So more focus on LLD and HLD if you are interviewing for L62,
Right.
and if you are interviewing for L61, more focus on DSA and LLD. Okay. And DSA, you said it is like lead code medium level.
Yeah, it was medium, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Sounds good. Anything else apart from that? How are the behavioral questions? I mean, a lot of people skip. Even I used to skip behavioral rounds. I mean, I usually don't prepare because I think I'm good, but I have seen rejections. Myself getting less rating.
That is really true. Like for me also, I like took some questions and then I practiced and built stories around those questions. Like how can we basically, if given us some question, because behavioral questions, I guess there are not more than 5 or 6 behavioral questions. Basically, those are twisted and then asked in some different way, but mostly there are 5 to 6 questions. So that is a like most common mistake that people are doing. Like they are not preparing for the behavioral questions. You should, I guess, prepare the behavioral questions according to the STAR method. That will really help a lot in the
Situation, task, action, results.
Yeah.
That was very insightful, to be honest. And the next question is, how did you prepare along with your full-time job?
Yeah. So I had to create a schedule because Flipkart, so it is a really hectic job in Flipkart.
I think you already shared one schedule. I just want to repeat. That was every Tuesday you used to sit and blindly apply for all kind of openings that have been opened in last 1 week and the Microsoft career portal.
Yeah, that is true. And I guess I created a schedule for myself. So I used to wake up around 4:50 in the morning, and I used to go for jogging, and then I used to go for some class, like a dance class or yoga class or the aesthetics class, just to like awaken myself because yeah. So after that, I used to practice some of the DSC questions for 2 or 3 hours, and then my login time was 11 a.m.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I basically worked in Flipkart from, I guess, 11 to 6. And after that, after coming back to home, so it was a hybrid in Flipkart. So I used to go 2 days a week. And after coming back, then also, so my schedule was in the morning, I used to practice DSC questions or like, I used like Neat Code 150 questions and then the lead code.
Even I love Neat Code 150 or Blind 75.
Yeah.
Icebreaker.
Yeah, then I also had the Sleet Code Premium, and then I used to practice Microsoft specific questions. And then after coming back from office,
Was it helpful? Company tag questions?
yeah, it was very helpful.
Perfect. Even I've been babbling like anything, like practice company wise questions. And I think there's a GitHub repo as well, which keeps on updating. I mean, I'll put that in the description as well. One should always check out. I mean, for meta interviews, I just practiced those around 50-60 DSA question. All the DSA questions, around three questions were asked. Were one of them.
Yeah. For me also, I will say like in one DSA round, it was a similar question that I had already practiced.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the
Perfect. Let's move on.
Yeah. So then basically after coming back from office, I used to study LLD and HLD. So I used to watch YouTube videos for HLD. Because I guess a lot of things are there on YouTube. We do think that YouTube is not that great. We should take some paid courses or something like that. There are a lot of MOOC interviews related to HLDs. And then maybe we can do that. That is really helpful. And then also I followed a grouping system design book for HLD. And then for LLD, basically, I used ChatGPT and I asked it to write down some of the important questions that are asked in the Microsoft. So it gave a list of 8 or 10 problem statements, and then I worked on that. I practiced that. So we can also leverage AI in that sense. So if you are working, you can write the code and then you can ask ChatGPT to review that code or give you the suggestions for the design principles. Also, if you are accounting or some particular problem statement, then you can ask ChatGPT like what all design principles can be applied. Then so it's helpful in recent times. I would say.
Any
So that-
any channel or any preparation resource that you want to mention specifically for HLD?
There are some of the online YouTubers. I am not remembering the name as of now.
Was it GKCS? Gaurav Singh.
Yeah. I watched his videos. Yeah.
Pseudocode. Then there's a thing called I Got an Offer Engineering for System Design. Hello Interview.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of the channels. I just used to go to the YouTube and then write like mock HLD for something like parking lot. So whatever video had the highest views, I used to watch that video. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, and also add some of my favorite resources that are available on YouTube, and I think those are good resources. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
And LLD, you use just simply ChatGPT. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very good adoption of AI in your interview equation. And even I used to do the same with HLD.
Okay.
Because when you prepare HLD with ChatGPT,
Yeah.
it really acts like a senior engineer. I mean, principal engineer level of feedback it gives.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to understand, but sometimes it gives you +1 level of, or maybe cherry on the top.
That is really true.
And for LLD, I also there's a GitHub repo which I just simply followed. There are around 10-15 questions. I just practice them in my local ID. That's it. And did you give any mock interviews? I think Exponent.io has a free mock interviews. A lot of them.
So I have some seniors that are working in Microsoft. So every weekend I used to call them and then ask them, can you take my mock interviews? So yeah, I gave a lot of mock interviews. That also really helps a lot.
I think
So that-
mock interviews are very, very, very important
Yeah.
because mock interviews will give you the real confidence. I think it's simulating the actual interviews before giving it. I mean, I fret a lot on mock interviews,
Yeah.
and I used to give a lot. I used to take also, give also.
Yeah.
So I think mock interview, one should never ever forget at
Yeah.
least 2 mock interviews for any company that are preparing. I mean, company specific mock interviews. They are
Yeah.
paid platforms as well, but I think if you have some seniors, some colleagues also, peer also, I mean, you can ask them to take mock interviews.
Yeah, like in Flipkart also, I used to take a lot of interviews. So that's why like I had the confidence that I can give interviews. But yeah, for the Microsoft specifically, I also was giving interviews like every weekend. That is really important.
Perfect. So, I mean, looking back, I think I would consider, let's say you were preparing for, let's say 6 months or maybe a year, not sure. You can quote on that.
Yeah.
What were the biggest learning from your interview process that you think that most candidates are ignoring or underestimating or not sure about? I mean, also you can add some of the mistakes that one should avoid.
Yeah, this is a like very important question according to me, because most of the people like they don't understand the importance of trade-offs. Like if you are giving HLD round, so you should not just focus on one component. Like for example, if you have to design a database structure, then you should not just say like you will be using the Elasticsearch or like you will be using some cloud platform. You should always mention like these are the 3 options that I can use, but like these will be the trade-offs, and according to me, this is the best. So this will give the interviewer this thing that you are well aware of the concepts and you are just not like mentioning anything. So that is also there, like the trade-off should be mentioned very clearly. And then the second thing I will say is you should focus on the behavioral questions that I already mentioned. That is very important nowadays. And then the third point is that you should practice DSA and you should not just like learn the like coding part. Like you should,
By heart, not
Yeah.
memorizing it.
yeah, right. Like you should learn the concepts, but you should not learn the questions. A lot of people do this mistake. So that is also there.
I mean, I recently went viral for this statement that I told that DSA has less priority, or maybe going forward it will be in least priority for SD2 roles or above, or might be for SD1 as well. I think I someone told me that for Microsoft, for SD1 they have started asking LLD.
I'm not sure on that part, but this is true according to me. Like,
Yeah,
for me,
Flipkart asked. I remember I have given personally as an SD1. They asked me machine coding. No, that was 90 minutes.
yeah,
Theater,
but
yeah, theater. I remember it correctly. So DSA, I think just help me correct if I'm wrong. DSA can be in maintenance mode. I think need code 150 for icebreaker or blind 75 just to get started. I mean, getting back in shape. You can start with the revision, and then you can do company specific question. That's it.
that
Sort of maintenance mode that you are still there. You know what you're doing, and you're not out of track. And then sideways you can focus on LED HLD because that's the most important skill.
yeah. So see now, like for me also, like in the 5 rounds, so only one DSA round was there, and in like other 4 rounds only LLD and HLD was asked. So we can see like how a pitch to DSA versus the design principles and the design things. That is also the
Perfect. Any mistakes that you personally had made during a journey that you want to flash, or maybe something that you want to quote that I made this mistake and you shouldn't?
So while I was giving my HLD round, so the interviewer wanted me to focus on some particular component, but I was more invested in discussing some different or the overall structure. And this was his feedback also. He mentioned in the feedback that if I was basically invested in a particular thing and I wanted to discuss that thing, you should have moved in that particular direction. So that is one of the biggest learning for me.
Maybe so. Let me summarize it. You're trying to say if interviewer is asking you or hinting you to focus on some component,
Right.
you should listen him instead of finishing your shit and then getting back to it. And by the time will be over
Yes.
and you're already rejected.
Right.
Because you might be fretting on small parts of HLD, maybe the API structure or back of the envelope estimate, or maybe some database structuring, or choosing between SQL or NoSQL. And he might be asking you to focus on which algorithm you will be using for. I get it. I've been there personally, so plus one on that.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, was Microsoft the only company that you prepared? I mean, you appeared for, or there were other companies? I mean, did you had multiple offers?
Yeah, I had a few more offers and I appeared for a lot of companies. And Microsoft was the one that I chose. So I was giving a lot of interviews. Yeah.
What was the reason? Was the best one in terms of compensation or the brand or the culture?
So one reason for me was the location. So most of the IT companies, they are either in Bangalore or Hyderabad. In NCR region, I guess Microsoft is one of the best companies that is there.
Okay. So you had a personal bias that you really want to move to North India.
Right.
So that's good. So once that, do you want to speak on the negotiations part? I mean, you had multiple offers. So did you use some of those offers to negotiate with Microsoft or other companies? Because a lot of people, they take offer from Amazon. Even I have done it, and then use it as a negotiation in other companies.
Right. So yeah, that is one of the things I also did. So one thing is there that Microsoft, they don't really negotiate very well. So for me also, like when they did the initial negotiations, they basically told me that this is the final offer that we have for you. But I will say that you should not like be okay with it. So for me, I did 3 rounds of negotiations. It will take time. You have that time. Like, why do you want to hurry? So you should take your time. For me also, like there were 3 negotiation rounds. And for me, I will say I made them match my Amazon offer. So Amazon, all like it pays a lot.
I know it really pays well, yeah.
Yeah. So it pays a lot. So Microsoft compensation, it is not that great. But if you are negotiating, so you can basically make that compensation match to a particular offer. So like there are some of the tactics that you can follow. So that is also there to negotiate. For example, because Microsoft, it focuses more on stock part. So if you have seen the base component of Microsoft, it is less, the stock component is more.
Perfect.
And they are more interested in negotiating on the stocks all out time. So one of the things is added was ki I want to stay in Microsoft for a longer duration. And if you're giving me stocks, that will also motivate me to stay there.
Perfect.
So that is also there. And then obviously if you have the competing offers, then they will try to match that as much as possible. And then the other part is like you can because HRs they won't really negotiate with you that much. So you can ask them that you want to talk to your HM or the director, and that will also help you a lot. So for me, I followed all these things and then went through 3 rounds of negotiations. And now like I am very much happy with the compensation that I got. Yeah.
Plus one on that, I remember this from Walmart.
Yeah.
So I was back in 2023. Yeah, I was in High Labs, one of the startup, and I had to switch. But Walmart was giving me just 10% hike. I mean, my CTC was already less because it's startup and I was in SD1,
Yeah.
and I was moving to. I mean, I was getting a promotion there because my year of experience was. I mean, the matching for the SD2. I went through 4 negotiations round, and the HR was fed up. I mean, I was so blunt that I said, I will not join you
Yeah.
for 2 lakh extra on my base pay. Why do you think I will do this?
Yeah.
I mean, I was so blunt. So
Yeah.
you have to be, I mean, if you start showing the desperation,
Yeah.
then they have already won.
That's
If you don't show the desperation and just collect your shit and you know that you've done good, your interview feedbacks are top notch, then you should always negotiate.
Yeah.
Even I did it Uber as well. They offered me to give L5A, which is
Yeah.
staff engineer, just to
Yeah.
match my Google offer. But Google is Google. I mean,
Yeah.
no match in the culture, and I was fine to get less pay. So it's ends is always a personal choice, but negotiation will always help you to earn 15, 20, 30, or maybe a lakh per month extra.
Right.
In terms of stocks or in terms of, I mean, it's a,
That will be compensation, yeah.
yeah. Cool. So we are almost to the end. And before ending, do you want to give some sort of ending note? I mean, some sort of advice to all the SD2s or maybe SD1s who are preparing for Microsoft or some similar other companies.
Yeah.
And do you have any words for them?
So I will say this thing. So I also thought that college matters a lot, but according to me, it does not. Even if you were like there in the tier 3 college, you can still think that you can be there in the Microsoft. Because for me, when I was in college, I did not even apply for Microsoft. It is not that difficult if you are consistent enough. You have to be consistent. That is the only thing. If you are consistent enough, then you can crack anything. That is not there, like that is not difficult. But the only thing requires being consistent.
Damn. I mean, every guy, and I mean everyone who comes, they just say consistency is the key. And I personally likes this a lot because I mean, I'm not a genius guy, but I'm a hardworking, consistent guy. So I can relate because consistency is helping me to stay relevant as well in the AI era. Okay, one last question before.
Yeah.
What would you comment on the space of AI? I mean, it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
Do you also feel left behind? Because even being at Google and being the creator and the leading, I still feel that I'm missing a lot because we have to focus on our system work, as in the platform, the organization work that we are doing. And we miss a lot on the AI stuff because we see a lot of noise on Instagram and X. How do you face it? I mean, how do you come out of it?
So I will say like AI is also helping us a lot because, for example, if we used to take 5 story points, like 5 days ka work in Flipkart earlier, and when we got this, like Flipkart uses cursor that photo development purpose, right?
Yeah.
So basically from 5 days, it just went to the 2 days. So AI is also helpful in that sense, and Microsoft also like there is full focus on AI that we should be using AI.
Perfect.
Nowadays, a lot of companies are focusing on AI. Like you should be using AI. That is the norm nowadays. So that's why also I do think that DSA ka preference it is coming thoda sa low because we have AI. But like the design things and everything should be there. But yeah, like everything has its own pros and cons. So AI as well, I guess.
AI is definitely helping us to be more productive,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's creating a lot of fear because
But that is no, because
Yeah.
playoffs, like it can
Yeah.
do the boom of a lot of people. That is
What do you think? Do you think it can replace you?
it cannot replace, because if there are a lot of things that we have to take care. Like AI cannot take care of everything.
I mean, we do babysit a lot sometimes on AI. I mean, it hallucinates and you get lost.
Right.
I mean, it's really good in developing stuff from scratch. I mean, something from, let's say, for MVP or some sort of prototyping,
Right.
some sort of patchwork, but it really fails miserably when there's a legacy, when you're working with legacy system and there's lots of personalization that is happening there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shanshita. That was really, really great. I mean, I'm very happy that we had so much insightful information.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking your time.
Yeah. Thanks
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.